What? Gingerbread mans?
Yes.
Not yet. He's been talking about, he calls them brand mans. We're gonna make those when it gets a couple more months, a little bit colder. What do you think about these cookies?
I think they're going to be delicious.
Well, I thought I'd start off this What's for Dinner video with a fish fry. We had a fish fry. We just cleared a portion of our table outside on the patio, and this is our son Gunner. He is the fisherman, and he was the fish fryer. Look at this. He caught all of these fish and many more and said, let's have a fish fry. So that's what we did. We had some delicious fish fries, hush puppies. Abigail, his wife, made those from scratch. Macaroni and cheese and slaw. This was an absolute delight. Thank you, Gunner, for catching all these fish and cooking this up for us. All right, moving in to another night's dinner. We are having hamburger patties and mushroom gravy. And you hear me say this a lot on my channel, and I will continue to say it. My mom is 83 years old. My dad is 80, and they are just awesome, awesome people. And I learned to cook from my mom, and I cook a lot like she did. Mostly my dad cooks now, but my mom taught me how to cook just about everything I know how to cook. Some other people taught me some things along the way, of course, but she wanted to make sure I knew how to cook. And my husband's mom was a phenomenal cook, so it's a good thing I learned how to cook because he was used to really good cooking. So this meal we had pretty often, once every couple of weeks. It was a family favorite when I lived at home with my parents. Hamburger patties and mushroom gravy could not be simpler. And you just basically take your ground beef and season it however you want and put it in the pan and fry it up. Now, I don't do anything fancy with this. I do, and you can even see right now, I'm seasoning my second side. I season the patties. I didn't even season the meat and mix it all in. It's all going to taste the same, trust me. So I shaped out my patties. After I got them in the pan, I did on both sides, one side and the other, pepper, salt, garlic powder, and I believe that's it. And then a good, healthy shaking of Worcestershire sauce. And so once those, and I do press my hamburgers down. Some people say don't do that. You lose all your flavor. That's what I do. So they're cooked up. You can see here I've added in some onions. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't. But basically it's just a hamburger patty seasoned however you want it. Fry it up. And then you remove it from your pan. You're going to get rid of all your grease from the ground beef, and we're going to make mushroom gravy, hamburger patties and mushroom gravy. So I make it just like she did, and that is just using cream of mushroom soup. I decided to use 2 cans. I started off with 1, and then I thought, you know what, I've made extra ground beef patties there, so wanted to make sure we had plenty of gravy to serve over the patties and on the mashed potatoes that I served on the side. Now, I think mushroom gravy needs a healthy dosage of black pepper. You just need it. So just put in some pepper. If you don't like black pepper, leave it out. But if you like it, make sure you add plenty. And so the ratio is a can of cream of mushroom soup to a can of milk. Now, I had whole milk. The second can, I just used water. So in my mind, that makes it 2% milk after it's all balanced out. That's how my mind works anyway. So we have made our gravy here. We are just going to let that simmer until it gets thick. And you don't want to get far away from it. Just keep stirring it. You'll get all the lumps out. It'll start coming together, and then we're just going to add the ground beef patties back in, and you're just going to let that simmer together. The patties are tender, delicious, flavorful. This could not be easier. You're not missing any flavor because you don't have 150 ingredients. You're not missing flavor because of that. It's simple, but it is delicious. And I always serve it with mashed potatoes and usually green beans or peas, something like that on the side. Growing up, my dad loved soft bread and butter. He called it light bread. And so we would always usually have bread and butter with a meal like this. Just delicious, simple, easy, quick, and fills your tummy with delicious comfort food. If you haven't tried this one, give it a try. And here it is, all plated up. Hamburger patties and mushroom gravy, homemade mashed potatoes with the gravy on top and some peas. This was so good. We had plenty of leftovers. We were able to eat on that the next day. Plenty leftover. This was delicious. My husband was in heaven because he had been wanting this. It was so good. All right, I've got another ground beef recipe here. This was from, I don't know, it wasn't back to back. It was just another night in that week. We had spaghetti and meatballs, and I'm going to show you how I made these homemade meatballs. Here in my air fryer basket, I have some meatballs, and here in my bowl, I have a little bit left. So let me just tell you real quick what I have in these. I'm using today 2 pounds of ground beef, a half an onion, very, very, very finely diced. I have 1 egg, 2 pieces of bread that I just crumbled up. I used about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of chicken broth. Never done that before, but a recipe that I had looked at recently had you using milk or beef broth, and I have used milk before when I use bread. It does make a very tender and moist meatball. So today with the bread, I used some chicken broth because I had some homemade chicken broth. And I don't think it's gonna hurt a thing. I put in some shakes of Worcestershire sauce. I used some Italian seasoning, garlic powder, salt, and pepper, and made meatballs. This is the first time to do them in my air fryer, so we're gonna give it a go. Here they are out of the air, well, not out of the air fryer, but you know what I mean. They have browned up, they look wonderful. I'm gonna test the internal temperature, and then I can leave a time on the screen or down below about how long these went in the air fryer. All right, here are my meatballs. I've poured about 1 jar of sauce on top, and I'm gonna heat these up in the oven when it's time to serve them, just enough to get them warmed back up again. Super easy and convenient in the air fryer. I tasted one of these and it tasted so moist, so tender, probably more than any meatball I've ever made. So A++ for these. Family night, all our grown kids and their little sweet boys were here for dinner. I just made a great big pot of angel hair pasta, put in a couple jars of sauce, all the fixings for this delicious salad, all the toppings, and then we did garlic bread and garlic breadsticks. This was so, so good. In fact, later on, at the end of that week, I rolled out 93 more meatballs and took them to a shared meal, and they were a hit the second time. So that's definitely a great recipe. Make sure you look down below for that. Into my rock crock, that's what this is called. It's made by Pampered Chef. My darn-in-law Abigail got me this for Christmas last year, the year before. It is really, really, really neat. It heats up and stays hot for a good long time. So, and you can use it in all sorts of places. But I'm going to do it in the oven today. These are Yukon Gold potatoes, and then these are actually sweet potatoes. And I remember the Big Ben said golden sweet potatoes, but I guess it just didn't even register with me. I just wanted some sweet potatoes. So when I peeled these, I kind of was shocked. I was like, what? So I peeled off just a little piece to taste it, and it is a little sweet. It's not super, super sweet. So here's what I'm gonna do. I never mix sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, but I'm gonna dice these and actually cube them. And I'm just gonna put some oil and some seasonings, and I'm gonna bake those in the oven together as a side dish. So I will let you know how these turn out. Here are my potatoes all diced up. The ones that are a little bit whiter looking are the sweet potatoes. And then on top I have just sprinkled some garlic salt, some parsley, and I drizzled over some olive oil. So I'm gonna mix this together. I don't really know how long I'm gonna bake these in the oven. I'll probably start checking them in about a half an hour or so. And I can post here on the screen or in the description box about how long I ended up baking these for. Okay, change of pan for the potatoes. I decided to move them from the rock crock. They're completely fork tender and done, and they're actually cool because I did these earlier in the day. And then I'm just gonna bake these in the oven for a little bit to get them crisp. I put a little bit of additional salt and pepper on there. I'm gonna get these in the oven here shortly. And then I have showed these on my channel before, but here is the bag. These are crunchy butterfly shrimp. I purchased these at Kroger. You get a 2-pound package, and it contains 2 separate bags. And of course the top of this is Ziploc, so it's nice for storing. These I think are maybe $11.99. They often run them for $9.99, and I had a $2 off coupon. So I ended up paying $7.99 for this shrimp. And you can see they are very nice size. It's not all just breading. They are nice big butterfly shrimp. They are very delicious and they cook up very quick. My favorite way is to do them in the air fryer, but tonight, because I already have my oven on and this will be easier for me tonight, I am gonna cook them on this baking sheet, and I've got my little racks on here that will help them to get crisp all the way around. They are so quick and very, very good. This shrimp is definitely something to keep in the freezer. You can get it on the table so quickly. Now my potatoes took a while obviously, but you don't have to make potatoes as a side. So put this with a really quick side like a salad like we did. This meal is a very quick one and it feels like restaurant food. The shrimp really was good and it's just so convenient. So that's one I definitely recommend keeping in your freezer. Okay, y'all, I was not going to show you this recipe. What am I saying? It's not a recipe. I wasn't going to show you this at all. But then I thought, you know what? I may as well. Here in my air fryer, you can see I've got tater tots and 3 of the little brown and serve sausages. This is called convenience food breakfast bowls. No, it's just stuff that's already ready, basically, and you just have to heat it. Sometimes we need these things in life. So there's 3 sausage links, some tater tots. In this pan here, they don't look real lovely, but they are sort of like a cheesy salsa scrambled eggs. And I'm gonna build bowls, breakfast bowls. But let me show you what I'm using. Like I said, I wasn't planning on showing this to y'all, so I already opened this. It is the Purnell's Old Folk Country Sausage Gravy. You can heat it in the bag or in the microwave. I've never seen anything like this in my life. The other night I was at the grocery store and I wanted some biscuits and gravy, and I didn't want it to get takeout, or did I want to make it? And I was like, there's got to be a biscuit and gravy bowl or something. There wasn't that I found, but I found this. And it was in the refrigerated section with the like sausage and breakfast meats. So I don't know. We're gonna give this a try, okay? I love my own gravy, but you know, I just wasn't wanting to make gravy that night. Well, here it is several nights later, several mornings later, and I'm making this for breakfast. So I'm gonna heat this up in the microwave, and then I'm gonna show you my little breakfast bowls. Here's my bowl that I'm starting with. And so I guess my inspiration for this is a little bit of the Chick-fil-A breakfast bowls. Those things are so good, you guys. But I don't have Chick-fil-A chicken. That of course makes it even better. All right, so let's go in with just a little bit of eggs here at the bottom. Let's do a few hash browns here on the top. Let's cut up one of these little brown and serve sausages. Perfect. I did 3, so let's do 1.5 per bowl. Okay. Here's the sausage. I'll heat it up in the gravy rather, heat up in the microwave. I just did a little bit, so I'm just gonna kind of drizzle that. Over the top, just a little. We don't want to saturate it with gravy, although that wouldn't be a bad thing either. And then on the top of that, let's go in with just a little bit of cheese. Like I said, I did some salsa in my eggs. Look at that, you guys. Not bad for, you know, just all quick and easy convenience freezer, refrigerator type things. It works in a pinch, huh? It's a little breakfast bowl there. All right, that is it for this morning's Saturday morning breakfast. That takes us to the end of the video, you guys. Thank you so much, as always. Every time you stop by and watch my videos, leave me a comment down below, like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys the next time.